Good evening. Thank you for joining my Wicked Wisdom Wednesday podcast. I'm your host, Jim McCollum. I'm the Gold Star father of United States Marine Lance Corporal Riley J. McCollum, killed in action, Kabul, Afghanistan, at Abbey Gate on 8/26/2021. I raised my kids as a single dad in western Wyoming. I'm the proud father of 2 daughters, Royce and Cheyenne, and a grandfather to 3 beautiful grandkids. I'm a cowboy carpenter poet, published author, public speaker, and Wyoming native. I enjoy Wyoming's landscapes and outdoor opportunities. From chasing elk in the fall to playing with bears in the spring or casting a fly on a river or stream, I love the Wyoming outdoors. Getting from point A to point B in Wyoming allows me ample time to follow the white line down the highway. It's here that I find the white line wisdom and highway philosophy that create Wicked Wisdom Wednesdays. I hope you enjoy this evening's podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Jim. Good evening. Welcome to this Wednesday's edition of Wicked Wisdom Wednesday. Make sure everything's loading on here this time. 1 second. Try to catch the comments this time as they're coming instead of halfway through. I think we're good. Yeah, hope everybody had a good week, good weekend. Happy hump day. Last week's title was Life is Good. This week's title is Waiting for the Next Axe to Fall. Kind of ties in with last week, but just life in general and the chaos that is me. And we all go through different shit, and we all have shit that happens in our life that, painful, heartbreaking, tragedy, loss, and all that kind of stuff. And as I was at the cabin this last weekend, putting the second coat of finish on the floor, I actually listened to my very first podcast for whatever reason. I just pulled up Spotify and decided what the hell. I'll listen to where I started. And a lot's changed, but a lot's the same. And it conjured up some those just hidden emotions, the suppressed emotions and stuff like that. The very first podcast I actually did on his birthday a couple years ago. So no, it was interesting to listen to and see where I've come from there and how things are going. But we'll get into that in a minute. Update on the cabin. I did get a lot of stuff done. Never get enough stuff done. Doesn't matter how much I get done. It's just never enough until that damn thing is finished. But I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. Eventually it will get done and things are going to look good. Got some things I'm working on right now, vehicle wise and trailer wise. Good grief. The next few weeks, I'm going to be busy swapping trailers. And when Royce comes up this next time, I think that's one thing we might do. We'll see. Spend a day or spend a night shuffling some trailers just to get things taken care of there instead of me doing it one a weekend and then bringing one back. But I've got to do some shuffling, get some equipment hauled down, some stuff hauled back here. I've got a horse trailer I need to bring back here. As soon as I get it back here, I got to get that thing sold. I'm not using it. It's just sitting. So just another piece of equipment I need to get rid of. I've got to get the Thicol here. I want to drop it off and have it gone over. Get some things just rectified. Battery cables and stuff that just need replaced and stuff to make sure it's sound and solid, and then get the trailer that goes with it here and get that thing sold as well. Hate to get rid of it, but again, it's just something I just don't use. I got I've got 4 sleds down there. Got 2 sleds come winter. I'll try to get rid of them as well. keep the other two. I don't know. I got a lot of stuff that I gotta sort out and part with some of it, simplify life a little bit. Um, Good grief, just paying for tags. I remember Dad doing it for years. Dad had more shit than I've got, but just licensing things and paying insurance on things. Like, man, every time you turn around, you're getting nabbed for another one. How many trailers do I have? One, two, three, four, five, six. I think seven. I've got seven trailers. It's nonsense. At one time, I needed them all, but I'm downsizing a little bit, and I'll make do with the ones that I have left over. Yeah, it's kind of nuts. Um, but yeah, cabin went well. I got the second finish on the floor. We'll see how it looks when I get down there. Might scuff it up a little bit and give it a third. We'll see what how things look and everything. Puppy's doing great. Zeus is doing well. I've got Zeus on some CBD oil for inflammation and pain relief, and it seems to be making a difference. I just mix a little bit in his food each morning, and then he's got some edibles. I can't remember, glucosamine and something else that's in those to kind of help him with his hips a little bit. And he seems to be doing better. He's a little bit more mobile and chasing the puppy around quite a bit. I've left him at home everywhere I've gone since I got back. Um, he doesn't understand. He's like, what the hell's going on here? I've never me. So when I get to the door, and he sees me grab the keys and hat on, man. He's at the door, just excited we're going to go somewhere. I have to tell him no. The puppy comes with me because I've been taking the puppy I went to get it microchipped today, but place I took him doesn't do it. But eventually I'll get him microchipped. I did get his second series of vaccinations done Monday. But yeah, poor Zeus. Then I don't want to take him and keep getting him in and out of the truck because that's one of the issues right now is him using his hips to push up and jump up. I don't let him jump in the truck now. I help him get in, take some of that pressure off, but hate to see the old guy hobbled up the way he is. I think I neglected to add one of the injuries he got. Royce was here about a month ago when he went to load up in the Dodge, and obviously the Dodge sits a hell of a lot higher than the Jeep does. And he didn't quite make it, jumped up, got caught on the seat, fell out. And he's a little portly right now, too. So a little heavier and landed on his hip. And man, he was limping and yelped a little bit. So it's going to torture me, but I'm going to stick with it and not let him jump in and out of the truck, not let him go on the hikes with me. They did hike into the bear with me. I'll start taking him for shorter walks and stuff to keep him loose. And I've got a herding ball that'll be here tomorrow. So I'll put him in the backyard and let him at least chase that around, get some exercise, hopefully lose a little bit of weight. I've changed his diet quite a bit, bought some stuff today that I'll start supplementing in with his food to help him feel full, but not have so many calories. Poor guy. He doesn't understand. Having the puppy though has been good for him because he's loving it. He's liking to play when he wants to play, and he'll let that puppy know when he wants to play. And he lets him know in no uncertain terms, hey, I've had enough of you. Quit yipping at me. But yeah, that was all good. I did not get the lower stairs up to the landing installed. They're cut, ready. I'll get those installed. Let's see, I've got a deal I'm going to tomorrow night, so I won't leave till Friday. So Friday or Saturday, I'll get those installed. And yeah, we'll just keep going from there. I keep changing focus on what I need to get done and where I want to work next. I've got a bunch of stuff outside I really need to take care of and get done. And then I've also got a ton of stuff inside I really need to take care of and get done. So I don't know. I'll sort it out. I've got 3 different lists of which direction I go, what I need to take, and what I need to concentrate on. So we'll go from there. I'm excited to get the railing done in the entire cabin, just so that that's done and I can see it and you'll see that progress. But that isn't one of the most important things to get done right now. So I don't know. I need more time. But yeah, that part's going well. Gonna maybe Friday. I got one trailer I'm hauling down Friday. I'll drop it off probably, depending on what time I can get out of here. If I get out of here around 5:30 in the morning, I'll go drop it off and then head to where Cheyenne's at. And I got to meet up with her and maybe say hi to the monkey and Cam and spend a little bit of time with them, and then turn around and cruise right back to the cabin and get busy. On the bear side of things, it closed for the spring season closed on Monday. And I went in there Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember what day I went in there. I think I went in there Saturday. And I had set hers up, and within 5 days, we had one on it. And within 6 days, we had 3 different bears on it. So got a blonde one, a chocolate, and a cinnamon. The blonde isn't a bad one. He's a good looking bear. Actually, I think it's a female. I'm gonna have to look at the pictures a little closer. I think that blonde is a female. So she gets a pass anyway. I won't let an arrow fly at that one. But I got a pretty cool picture. That blonde one's on the can, and then you just see it darting out of the picture. And the next bear that comes in he's a toad. Really nice chocolate bear. The chocolate just doesn't do anything for me. All the bears that I did have that burned up at the cabin. We had 2 solid black ones, and I think there were 3 chocolates, and they're pretty. A lot of people really like that chocolate phase, but it just doesn't do it for me. Royce's bear is gorgeous, and that whole hunt and everything was fantastic, but the chocolate ones just don't do it, even though he's big. I'm gonna have to, if I see him up close and in person and can watch him and get some actual video on my phone of him while I'm there, might change my tune on that one. He does have a nice head. So anyway, we'll see what fall brings. But yeah, I took the puppy in and figured I'd have to carry it some of the way. He's just little, I don't want to hurt him or get him all gimped up already. But we just took it slow, and hell, he made it right in. Did just fantastic and made it in and out, and he got to explore quite a bit. So that was fantastic. Curious little guy. Speaking of bears and videos and stuff, I posted on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, I believe, a video that shows Royce coming out of the aspens, and she's got a bear on her backpack. That was the bear she got in 2019. That is not a new one. No new arrows have flown. In fact, I don't know if she's even shot her bow recently to be ready to go. So, but yeah, I come across that as I was looking at pictures of the fire and us rebuilding the cabin and stuff like that. It's like, I gotta post that. That's pretty cool. I forgot I had that video. Got another one of the dogs. When we found her bear the following morning, they didn't do very good. They're not good bloodhounds. They were standing right on it, didn't even realize it was there.
right next to it anyway. That was pretty fun. And I love that video. It's pretty cool. And Royce packed that thing all the way out, all by herself. Got some other pictures, and I think a video maybe of her crossing the creek we got across. And now that was cool. That was back when she was really fun. But yeah, so cabin was good. That was good. My other one, I won't get anything on that until August, September, probably September into October before anything consistently hits that one. But we'll see. You never know. Get the right one that comes through. That might be a good one to sit on. And I more set that one up. So if I have friends that want to get one, Tiny used to talk about, man, I'd like to do that. So I set my south side up, several years ago. Hell, 2018, 2019, with Tiny in mind, actually, that a guy I used to work with, get a chance. This would be a great one. And Royce and I strictly bow hunt, and the south ones I set up so you could actually hunt it with a rifle. So, and I got friends all the time. It's like, man, I'd love to get a chance at that. I've never hunted one, whatever. So I set that one up more for fun for me, for pictures and video, and if somebody would like to give it a whirl. But Royce and I are super picky. You can't just shoot anything, so that's where we're at with that. I don't know. That's a whole other podcast and story. That's a Wicked Wisdom weekend adventure story. What else is going on? Dogs they're doing good. Yeah, I had a good week. The whole life is good thing. Life is still good. A lot of positive things happening. All that negative shit though is always there. The difference between now and before is I'm not thinking about it. I'm not dwelling on it, and I can get my mind out of that funk, and I don't even get into that funk as deep as I was. But all the shit is still there, and hence the title of this one, waiting for the next axe to drop or axe to fall. I definitely see little moments of it and stuff like that. And as I was listening to that original podcast at the cabin, life is a series of unfortunate events and miserable shit. I've had more than my fair share. I've had more than some, less than others. And I honed in on basically when I decided to leave my marriage and get the kids out of that freaking environment and hell with this. That was 2007, 2008-ish, going through that shit. And that's always hard on people, divorce and separation and court and dealing with that shit and trying to make sure the kids are okay. They're young. So there was that era. I've got another daughter that she basically said this side of the family's dead to her, and she didn't give a shit about me, siblings, grandparents, for whatever reason. She just went off the freaking deep end. And that was 2008, 2009-ish. And I tried to mend that fence and reach out and do what I could there. She wasn't interested. I think I've shared that story before. She actually pulled up to mom and dad's house. Mom had died, but she pulled up to the house, and grandpa was in there and let her dog out to pee on the yard, never come in, said hi, nothing. Absolutely crushed my dad. My dad doted on that girl when she was little. Just absolutely loved her. he had never done anything to her other than help her out and support her and shit. So and that is a loss any way you look at it. And it did tear me up for a couple of years. And then I'd say 2 or 3 years, that hurt me. And then it's like, you know what? That's your choice. I'm here. I'll always love you, but I don't love who you became. And if that's your choice, that's your choice. And that's on you. You'll have to sort that out. And she's not what I've seen and heard and stuff from her sisters. She doesn't have her shit together, and she certainly is confused and not happy. So life choices, you make the choice, you got to live with it and deal with it. So there was 2007, getting my kids out of that fucked up environment, saving Cheyenne and Riley from that shit. Royce was so resilient back then, and she had a grandma that she could just disappear. She could just get out of it. And she blamed a lot of shit on her brother, got her brother in trouble a lot. So that he was getting yelled at or whatever, and she was not. And then she'd be able to escape. Don't fault her for it. It was self-survival, for crying out loud. So 2007, 2008, 2009 were pretty shitty. The mom died in 2012. Just going through the motions, doing shit. Actually went to school, got a CNA certification, and then massage therapy certification, still bending nails and doing all those things. Grasping at straws, I think, a lot. I needed a change. I needed something, and I needed something that was going to be helpful to Riley. Riley was the focus of our family for a long time. He had so much going on and dealt with so much shit. Royce, Cheyenne, and I, and I don't know if I was fair to the other two girls. We just always did things together, but Riley was such a focal point of everything we did. And then we got him involved in wrestling and stuff like that. And then it just became, well, we just wrestle. That's what we do. You know, Roy still did volleyball. Cheyenne did volleyball. They had their own things going on, but wrestling became a focal point. And then the wrestling family and community. And hell, my girls knew people in Rock Springs, Green River from wrestling. That's why this evolution has been so easy, and an appreciation for Sweetwater County and the great people that we met through wrestling, and that continues. You know, with Lincoln getting the scholarship, and he didn't even know it, but I've been following that kid wrestling and looking forward to see where he goes. So that's just bizarre, the way it all kind of, those webs just interweave and come back together. So yeah, 2012, mom died, had a few good years, and, you know, life was going well. Work was going well, enjoying what I'm doing. Royce actually came to work for the company I was working for as a timber foreman, and she turned out to be a hell of a hand, hard worker, picked it up real quick, and hell, she didn't have much of a choice. She's been stuck doing it with me since she was about 6, 7 years old. It's pretty impressive to have somebody that can actually read a tape measure. You have no idea how many people would jump on and say their experience and stuff, and they can't read a freaking tape. Royce can read a tape. Royce can run a chainsaw. Royce can run just about any tool you put in her hand. So now she was a good hand. Obviously, rebuilding the cabin. Shit, she forklift certified, and I trust her all day long. Even the time she damn near tipped it over, but that one wasn't her fault either. Fully extended on uneven ground, and that was a story. I'll have to wait till she's here to share that one, because it was fun. We had pucker factor times 10 on that one. It was a rented lift. Yeah, definitely not OSHA approved. We would have had a stand down for that one and a safety meeting for a couple weeks. And then the time she fell asleep in it, I'm up in the air. We cruised down to the cabin after work. Hell, we didn't get down there till 9:30 at night. It's dark as hell, cold as shit. I think it was October, maybe early November. They were finishing up the stone on the fireplace, and I had to get a cap up there for them to continue the next day. And I'm up there, the wind is howling, it is cold as hell. I got everything done. She's asleep. I'm up in the air 35 feet, and she's snoozing in that lift. I throwing things at her, trying to wake her ass up. Then you see her eye, she lifts her head and her eyes open. She was as shocked as I was. But no, that was good. So yeah, a couple good years. I got to backtrack though, because the whole reason we were there was the cabin burning down in September of 2018. And that was another traumatic loss. Man, you lose something in a fire, and anybody who's experienced it knows full well what that feels like. A piece of you goes, memories, plus all the material stuff. That whole, yeah, life is more important than your belongings and shit. But when you lose a bunch of stuff that is horse trailers, a backhoe, a bulldozer, boat, all our saddles, all our tack, everything. 5 snowmobiles, Cheyenne's go-kart, motorcycle, bows, a gun. I mean, we lost my tools. I don't know how many thousands of dollars worth of tools we lost. Cement mix. I mean, 2 lawnmowers, 2 riding lawnmowers, snowblower attachments for the backhoe, attachments for the dozer. We lost so much, not to mention the 3-car garage with the apartment above it that I built for mom and dad. And then dad had just had the year before a 30 by 60 pole barn built that had tons of equipment and stuff to keep it out of the weather. That is a loss, and it is substantial. And then to see the devastation of dad, we had our memories with grandma and grandpa, mom and dad down there. And I had, the memories of the kids and the pine trees and how just absolutely beautiful it was, secluded. You couldn't see another cabin anywhere. And we've got one 400 yards away from the house that you didn't know it was there. There were so many pine trees, and it was so heavily forested and beautiful that you drove through the gate to the property and you were alone. That was it. There was nobody there. You were just isolated. And that was one of the beautiful things about that. When you lose that, you lose a little piece of you lose a piece of self. The memories of mom and all the things that she did and stuff there, the memories of my kids and what we would do to help mom and dad out. And hell, before it burned down, dad had just said, this was before he ended up having to go to dialysis. And he asked us to get him a bunch of firewood because he was going to try to spend 2 or 3 weeks in the winter, just go down there and stay there. Got a couple snowmobiles he could play on, had the thigh call he could play on. He didn't even care about going out and playing. He just wanted to sit there, build a fire, and enjoy the cabin and just a little mini vacation, take a break and go disappear. I don't know how much wood Royce and I got, but we got a lot. Build a fence, build a buck and rail fence, got him a bunch of firewood stacked up, split up. Riley was even down there splitting firewood. He loved that shit. And I miss that about him. I hand him an axe and go to town. That kid would split firewood all damn day. Anything to work out. But yeah, we had tons of firewood. Royce had sanded the entire bunkhouse and the cabin, and we restained both with a grinder. We didn't have enough water pressure to pressure wash, and I didn't have access to a blaster. So she used a grinder, and the entire cabin and the bunkhouse. And then we restained everything. Had dug a hole that there was one corner of the bunkhouse that was kind of settling a little too much. So dug a hole. We were going to pour concrete, jack that up, get it all taken care of. And it was that week. I just posted a video today of the day that the fire started. And yeah, we had just finished up some of the stuff we were doing. I've got pictures of Royce packing logs and a chainsaw and all that good stuff. And then, yeah, the fire started on the 15th, and we lost our cabin on the 23rd. 20, is that right? Man, I'm going to have to check that date. I believe it was September 23rd. That the fire got us. And yeah, it's still haunting in a weird way. And it was such an immense loss. And I can't pinpoint what that loss was or feels like or exactly what that is, but it was Wyatt. Down, I didn't scroll down far enough again. Love you, kid. Good to see you on here. Forgot what I was saying. But yeah, it's a loss, and it was devastating, but in a different way. At the time, that was a pretty devastating loss. Fast forward to 2021, that loss didn't even compare to the loss of Riley. I don't think I'll knock on wood. Girls, you better wrap yourself in bubble wrap. I don't think there's a loss that can compare with losing a child, and then losing Riley in the manner that we did. And as public as it was and still is, speaking of, got an email yesterday. Sentencing is going to be, I can't remember the exact date, but mid-September for the jackass that they did hold a trial for. And haven't decided if I'm going to go to do a victim impact statement or just write one. I've got so much shit I've got to get taken care of. So it's going to, and I don't have to make that decision today. I've got time to make that decision, but it's going to depend on how much stuff I do get done and where I'm at, whether or not I feel comfortable enough that I can bail. And then mentally, I got to make sure my shit's together to go be there and do that. But so yeah, it's still coming, and we'll see if they make more arrests and what else comes of this. And there are still people in Congress working on our behalf to do things, and Hegseth is still working on stuff, and Trump is still working on stuff, and we'll see where that goes. And then 10 months after that, Dad died. So every time something happens, there's another axe that falls. And I know I'm not alone in this. It happens to everybody. That's just part of life. But damn, I've had some big ones. And again, I think I handled shit really well. The loss of Riley and staying involved, and you know, Abbey Gate family definitely helped with that, and staying in contact with them and being with them and seeing them on fairly frequent occasions and having conversations with them. And somebody that understands what you're going through, because they're going through it too, was big. And I was involved and engaged and friggin' loved all of those people. And then the loss of dad, that one is still, that one still bothers me because I have not grieved for my dad. In certain little ways I have, in certain things I do, making sure I get things done and stuff with dad in mind. I'm not sure if that's part of the grief process or a grieving at all, but dad's in my thoughts, and I'm doing things and handling those situations well. But as far as grieving the way I feel I should be grieving for him and breaking down and crying and having that moment, I have not had that. And that's really unfortunate. I feel that my siblings stole that from me, stole any opportunity to, I mean, hell, they had him cremated before I even got back from Pennsylvania. He died on Friday the 17th. We came back on the 19th. He's already cremated, so there was no goodbye, no anything there. And then immediately the shitstorm started where they're taking shit, and the will and trust didn't mean a damn thing to them. They're claiming vehicles and guns and stuff. And he died on Friday, and by Sunday they had ransacked every room, outbuilding, vehicle that he had. Like, what in the hell? And that was the catalyst to the next 2.5 years, well, continuing today. I knew it was wrong. They knew it was wrong. They just didn't give a shit. Greed. But dealing with that, spending tens of thousands of dollars on attorneys to get nothing accomplished for so damn long, that's where I started really struggling. The depression, the anxiety, another trauma where the PTSD part come in, and it didn't come in quick. And I think I've mentioned this a couple times. It's not like it just hit me and then I was in a funk. It just bit by bit and piece by piece, I just fell into a rut and a darkness and a shitty place. And then I just could not pull myself out of it. And the deeper I got into it, the harder it was to see any light at the end of the tunnel, to see any way that this is ever going to get any better. And that's what brought me to January. And I have a meeting Tuesday, and I'm going to ask about this. I sincerely, I don't know what a mental breakdown looks like, but I'm pretty sure I had a mental breakdown in January. I completely checked out of life. No recollection. None. And it was really shitty leading up to that point, to where just getting out of bed was a chore. Doing anything was overwhelming and such a burden. Doing laundry, walking down the stairs to swap laundry from the washer to the dryer was a task so daunting that it would take me 3 hours to frickin' do it. When the thought's in your head, you get up, you go down and do it. I could not frickin' do that. Blinds closed, doors locked, sheltered away from everybody until I felt, okay, I'm going to go be social for this period of time, socialize, whatever, and then disappear again. And it was, and I've mentioned this before, I wasn't living, I was just waiting to die. There was no joy, no excitement, no anything in my life that that felt or seemed positive. So from life is good to waiting for the next axe to fall, life has been pretty good. Since January, I've mentioned several times the getting the blood work done, getting on medications, getting back excited to be building the cabin and working on the cabin again. And there's a lot of this to, you've dicked me for 3 years, and whatever their intentions were, how they were trying to hurt me, fuck you. I'll rise above this and I'm going to get this done and you can kiss my ass. So there's that attitude and mentality going into this. And I don't know, that one is frustrating and irritating. There's another loss too. I have essentially lost 2 siblings. You think that would hurt a little bit more than it does. That one just irritates me and pisses me off. And I feel nothing for either one of them. Worthless, horrible people. And anybody that watches me and I know there's a couple, and keep sharing all my shit with them, share away. They suck. If you knew the ins and outs of everything, and if you ever want to, message me and ask, and I'll give it to you full barrel, everything, because they are not the people you think they are. They are fucking miserable. And I'll leave that alone. But yeah, you ever have questions or you think you know the answers, you don't know shit. I can give it to you and I can give you the receipts. But so there's another loss that just kind of added up. That loss was more anger and disgust and disappointment, which just compounded with everything else I was going to. Oh, the shit that they did after Riley died and the things that they said, telling me to use Dad and Riley's death to try to get cheaper rent somewhere. 2 days after my dad died was a comment made by my older sister. Disgusting, just disgusting. Trying to force me to do shit, knowing full well we're on the way to Austin, Texas for the 1-year anniversary of Riley's death and the 13 dying, and get an email that they want me out of the Jackson house by September 1st. August 26th to September 1st. Do the math on that one. And what an ignorant fucking thing to do. I don't know. Anyway, I can feel blood pressure going up, and I just disgust, absolutely disgusting. But to move on from that into where we are now, yeah, life is good. Things are going well. I'm getting shit done at the cabin, getting things taken care of personally. I'm feeling better. I'm doing better. The mental focus is back, and there's clarity. I still have little bouts of the anxiety piece, but it's not as crippling as it was. It's still there, and it would be easy to give into that and let that take control again, because I can feel that one, and it is definitely a mindfulness and a thought process that I have to go through to not go there. I have to almost will myself to take that step. Just keep stepping. Just whatever you do, just keep moving. Whether it's walking out the door to take the dog potty or whatever, just keep moving. Don't sit there with that thought. So there's been some massive growth there as far as the way I mentally handle things and process things, and how I go about day-to-day stuff. But there's also things now I'm looking forward to. I've got some events coming up and looking forward to them. I got to spend some time with some friends doing something that like the UFC fights on the White House lawn. That is a once in a lifetime deal. We're going to do an inaugural, once in a lifetime deal. Maybe there'll be an opportunity to do it again year after year, but not for the very first one. So yeah, the mental clarity, those pieces, and the parts of my life that I really needed to find again to keep moving forward and keep functioning and to be productive and to feel productive and feel like I'm freaking human again. Those have fallen into place and are good. But in the back of my mind, I'm always waiting for that next axe to fall. Screwed up thought process. As dry as it's been, and such a bad winter as far as moisture and snow. And I took a bunch of pictures that I posted, I think, on all three: Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, of the Clinton era roadless rule and what it did to our forests. It didn't frickin' make them healthier by any means. I was devastated them. There is so much deadfall in this little corner of where I go play that shit ever catches fire, we are in deep shit. It's going to burn until it snows, and it's going to ruin a hell of a lot of country. And down in the cabin, I keep having this thought, holy shit, I hope we don't relive this again. Things dry out in July and August. Hell, they're already not as green as they should be. The Gros-Ventres, the snow is almost all but gone. There was no runoff to speak of this year. So that thought keeps popping through my head. I can't do this again. But knock on wood, I got to start thinking more positive and quit thinking that shit. I don't want to manifest something bad. So, but that it's always in the back of my head, what's next. So there's a thought process I've got to fix within myself and for myself, and find more positive things to look at. Getting out and playing with the bears has been big, getting some videos, and even the Grizz. I didn't mind the Grizz being on there, and it's kind of exciting, kind of fun, and to know you're walking through the same patch of trees that big bastard's in is kind of cool. I don't know, coming out in the dark, it wouldn't be so fun and so cool, but and getting on Royce's and just checking it out. And hers is a hell of a hike in too. I don't know. I'll maybe take some video one of these. I took a bunch of pictures, I think, but I've never taken a video getting in there. There's a couple reasons for that. I don't want anybody to know where the hell I'm at. But no, it's pretty awesome. I'll sneak in there again. She actually mentioned when she gets here, she might have a day where we can do some shuffling, and she'd like to just take a quick trip in. So that'd be kind of fun. Go in, swap some SD cards, see if anything's come back. There's nothing in the can, but see if anything's come back and paid a visit and whatever. And I'll leave the trail cam set up until August. It's always cool to see what comes through there. Every now and then get a good bull moose that walks through there, and had kitty cats in there that we've got pictures of. There's wolves in there. So just to get pictures of what's in the forest, where the wild things are. Pretty cool. Oh, if you didn't catch my kid, which, by the way, please share the hell out of this with your friends, family. If you like the content and the dumb things I say, share it with everybody you know. Have people tune in on Wednesdays. And then I do a kind of a weekly recap also Monday mornings, a coffee with the kid. Oh man, you can't see him. But we got That's on TikTok. Riley back there. Joey picked up the cornhole board and left one with me. So I'll have to get a light where I can shine on that next time. I need to get it hung up, but right now it's just sitting on the floor. But yeah, if you like this stuff, share it with everybody. Have them tune in Wednesday evenings and then catch me Monday mornings. I don't have a real set time there. Sometimes I do it at 4:00 in the morning. Sometimes I do it at 8. Just depends on whether I woke up really early or got other things going on in the morning. But yeah, the coffee with the kid, always, weekly coffee with the kid. Just a little remembrance of Riley and a fun way to just kind of stay in touch with everybody. But yeah, hopefully Royce can sneak in there with me. We get some more pictures. I forgot what the lilac bush. That's what I was getting at. I think I shared that Monday morning in the coffee with the kid. When the fire come in, if you've seen pictures of the cabin before, I've got a video on TikTok. I think the reel's gone on Facebook now, but these were, I think I labeled them pre-fire or before the ashes or something like that. There's a picture of the cabin and right on. Very good. Joey's getting his hung up too. But there's a little bunkhouse. And before the cabin was built, Mom, Dad, and I would snowmobile in. We used to have to snowmobile in from the highway. And hell, there's 4 or 5 feet of snow, and it's just a little bunkhouse. It had 3 bunk beds on each side. Had a little barbecue grill. There was no water, no electricity, nothing. I mean, it was pretty damn primitive, but we'd go spend a weekend, 3 or 4 days in that little bunkhouse, and it was just freaking awesome. After the cabin was built, the bunkhouse was something that, the grandkids would go hang out in, or if we had, extra company or whatever, I'd go hang out and stay in the bunkhouse. We eventually added a little gas stove, had a propane bottle, and snuck it through the logs and had it where you could cook inside. And actually hooked up a light and just plugged it into the cabin so you had some electricity in there so you could see. But then the little wood burning stove. I mean, hell, you fire that wood burning stove up and 10 minutes later you had to get the hell out of there. It was, you had the doors open and the windows open. It was hotter than hell in there. But I think it was in 1992, in the summer, Mom had planted a lilac bush on the southeast corner of the bunkhouse. And there was a hitching rail for hitching your horses up to. That was alongside the cabin or the bunkhouse. And then they planted a pine tree right at the front corner. When the place burnt down, I've got a picture of a flag hanging in that tree, in the pine tree. It grew pretty tall. It was probably 16, 18 feet tall. After the fire, I put a flag on that tree. But the lilac bush, man, everything was gone. And hell, I dug a hole right there with the backhoe and just buried most of the stuff that, the remnants of the fire. It burned it to nothing. A little bit of concrete and some rocks and rubble and whatever. So I dug a big hole there and buried all that stuff. And hell, we're almost 8 years after the fire. And granted, there's damn near 4 years that I wasn't able to work on it because I jackasses. But I fired the thigh call up and I was moving it to block the metal where I just moved my tool trailer from, and was backing it up, looked to my left, and I'll be damned if her lilac bush isn't in full bloom. And holy hell, couldn't help but think of Mom and Dad. And it was on the 14th, which was Mom and Dad's anniversary. It would have been 63 years. Their 63rd anniversary. It's like, that's pretty fitting. And I mentioned it, it gave me a little bit of the where the red fern grows vibe. Um, Kind of a special moment. I stopped and took some pictures and walked around, and it's like, that's pretty damn cool. Um, and then, yeah, memory, just all kinds of things of mom and things that we did there. And hell, there's still two metal T-posts in the ground that mom had pounded in there at one time and stacked up a bunch of, like, she'd cut down some of the aspens, or dad would cut down some of the aspens and just stacked it up so it looked like firewood out in front of the bunkhouse. And those are still there. So no, it was pretty cool, pretty fun. But yeah, I can't wait to get down there again, and I'll share more pictures. I'll do another video of, oh man, TikTok's making me do the puzzle. Got it. Update some pictures on the actual rebuilding of the cabin, and I don't know if one video or two, but kind of get it brought up to date. And then as I keep getting shit done, I'll keep taking pictures and sharing pictures. And excited to get one of the trailers down there so I can get a bunch of crap out of the cabin that I need to get out of there so I can finish some other things. I've got wiring and sinks and cabinets and all kinds of stuff that I need to get out of there, out of the way, so I can finish some other floors and stuff. So it'll be nice to get the car hauler down there and get the side-by-side out of it, and then put a bunch of materials and stuff that I don't want out in the garage, or, I don't have garage doors on. Hell, the garage doors aren't even cut in yet. Just don't want them out in the elements and the owls and ravens crapping all over them. So keep all that stuff covered, get a bunch of my tools that I'm not using or don't need at the moment in there so that I can proceed and move forward. And I think once I do that, it'll be easier to focus on, okay, getting the laundry room done, getting the bathroom done, get the kitchen going, get the kitchen cabinets built. Haven't decided yet if I'm going to do full on cabinets or go full Abe Lincoln and make it rustic. So we'll see. I'll decide. Royce isn't here to tell me no, so I'll decide. But yeah, that's about all I got for today. Puppy's doing well. I'm doing well. Looking forward to heading back down there this weekend, get some stuff done. I'm also going to cut in a new path through our aspens, but I need to get some approval from the girls on that one first before I just go start hacking things. I really don't want to go through that aspen grove, but I've got to have a way to get down to the end of the property. One, there's a ton of firewood there and a ton of posts and poles that I can get to rebuild the fence without having to get it from the forest. So I just need to cut another pathway in there. We used to have a beautiful lane that went down there, but it's all now fully overgrown, and I don't want to follow that same path. I want to skirt it to leave as much of that new growth alone as possible without going down the side of the hill. It's pretty steep, so I'll have to navigate that, but I got the equipment to tear things up and do it right. So anyway, hope you guys have a great week. If I find anything exciting this weekend, I'll definitely share some post some pictures and share some videos. But yeah, take care. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you.
Thank you for tuning in and following my Wicked Wisdom Wednesday adventures. You never know where the path or topics are going to take us. Please like, share, follow, and subscribe. You can find me on social media at the links listed at the end of this video. You can also find me on Spotify and YouTube at Wicked Wisdom Wednesday. Join me Monday mornings for Coffee with the Kid, and randomly on weekends for Wicked Wisdom's Weekend Adventures. I do appreciate all your support. Thanks again, Jim.